The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like.
You know, it's Daytona. Either know Daytona season as you either know Daytona season as two things. You know it for the beautiful International Horseshoe, West Horseshoe, infield, and a bus stop, or you know it for the Daytona 500. For me, Daytona season always starts with the International Horseshoe. This is a track that I love near and dear, and I will tell you right now, it is amazing in so many ways. I'll be here in 7 days' time, but for now, we're going to get some virtual runs here of the race. Welcome everybody in to PTR TV for tonight's coverage of Elbows Out Racing. We are live here at Daytona International Speedway virtually, and we are going to get things kicked off and rolling here around this beautiful, beautiful track. It's going to be myself, Brad Dalton in the booth, along with Patrick Coleman, as always, and you will notice some things have changed from last week. Certainly giving it a try here. Patrick, good evening, sir. How are you?
I am absolutely fantastic. If La Sarthe is the most well-known endurance track, this is definitely the second. And honestly, they're pretty much neck and neck. Of course, I'm going to have some bias. This is my home track after all, but Daytona's pretty much got everything you want. It's a fast track. It can be very technical, but also it's just a lot of good fun. And it is peak multi-class racing. Peak multi-class racing at a league that is known for peak multi-class racing. You can't have a much better night on a Wednesday, Brad.
You really can't. And all things considered, if you're trying to look for a good way to have a Wednesday night, this might be one of those things that you definitely put at the top of your list here as the checkered flag flies on this qualifying session. And I tell you what here, we're going to let things roll and get the grid scrolling while we get ready to party here. We have a full grid in tonight of 58 cars. This is going to be a massive run for everyone to get going here and underway as well. Looks like we're having some growing pains with the new overlay, but here we go. Let's let the grid scroll through as it's Tyler Stenick up at the front with Dustin Nearhoof hoofing his way near in second place. Now, as we let these guys scroll, Patrick, I got to ask you, how do you think this race is going to go down? We've got 4 classes, tons of great action coming up. Who are you looking out for tonight?
I mean, you obviously have your mainstays that have been pretty strong in the league. I mean, you have your Cody Peredatos, but seeing some other names as well, like Tyler Stenick, who has been known for dominating the GT field in the last couple of seasons, now jumping up into the prototype. Also, Dustin had a really strong debut last week in Le Mans, so he's going to be a force to watch out for. Dylan Ackley has always been really quick in this LMP2 machine, so he'll be another one to kind of really keep an eye on. And honestly, pretty much this whole field is really somebody you really can keep an eye on. I am expecting a little bit of carnage Not as much as last season when we had the rain, but I do think that we are going to see some absolutely beautiful battling here at a track that's, well known for some drivers going bumper to bumper.
I mean, the league's called Elbows Out. Let's be honest here. If we're going to call the league Elbows Out Racing, I don't know what else we can expect other than, well, Elbows Out Racing. This is going to be a good one. I think this is going to be a great refresh here, a little bit of a different setup than what we had last week. And a couple of active things to note on last week. This is a different overlay package. We had the league vote, and the decision was there was more emphasis placed on showing the 4 separate classes, which is something that the state do. So we have had to outsource a little bit, which is not something that we usually have to do. It's kind of impressive to see us have to do that here in PTR TV, and it's pretty sweet to be there. As well, you will notice the name changing here. We have changed the class names from GT3s to GTDs, and also the color highlights for each class. It's now true to IMSA, which is really what Elbows Out tries to do here, Patrick, is be true to IMSA. So we decided to tweak the graphics a little bit and be true to IMSA here and try to give a little bit of love in order to help the league project their image here. Pretty exciting things to see through is I forget that that's Philip Keyser's photo with a big old fish. I appreciate that for some reason.
It certainly adds a lot of character to his picture, and you're talking about how Elbows Out wants to kind of project themselves as an IMSA league. Well, you're at pretty much the crown jewel of the IMSA calendar here in Daytona, and you're going to be here in about a week's time. So it's, first off, I'm really jealous that you're able to go to this race in person, and I know it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to try to watch as much of it as I can from my apartment, but in the meantime, we're going to have some equal racing, 4 classes ready to absolutely duke it out here tonight. And honestly, 58 cars across 4 classes, this is going to be some exciting action here tonight.
I definitely think this is going to be a great one to watch here. So if it's your first time, make sure it's not your last time. Like and subscribe. Do all the things to stay here for a while. Grid has rolled through. It looks like we're just waiting on some last-second admin things to get done and dusted, so that way we can have this race going, because that is ultimately what we want. And of course, if it's your first time here at Elbows Out, well, how does this work? Let me tell you, it's 60 minutes of action that is going to run through, and that is going to be what really gets this thing going. 60 minutes top to bottom is going to be what we are looking at. And I'll tell you the fun thing I'm really excited about here, Patrick, is I get to fly into Daytona. When I went in 2024, I flew into Orlando and then had to do an hour drive over to Daytona. Whereas this year, I get to fly just directly into Daytona. I have to do a layover, which I'm not excited about, but get to leave directly from my home airport and then just land directly in Daytona at the track at 10 a.m. Wednesday. So this time in a week, next week, it'll be Corey Silva here with Patrick at Algarve, trying to run things through and possibly testing another tweak of the graphics package. So we appreciate everyone being patient with us for that. So as we wait for things to get set and going and underway and through, Patrick, what is the over-under on some Class Chaos round 1 or turn 1?
I'm gonna say it's a pretty likely chance. I'm thinking definitely over on this because you got 50 some cars trying to all go into the same set of corners. So I think particularly where things are really going to get dicey is turns 1 and 2 is always going to be really spicy. And obviously, through the international horseshoes, it's really difficult. And the track narrows quite considerably when you get to that infield part of the track. So if there's going to be any carnage, it's either going to be there or the Le Mans chicane at the end of the backstretch. So those are pretty much the 2 spots I'm going to highlight for carnage to happen. I think it's definitely more of a when rather than if.
I just got another thing pointed out from YouTube chat. Dayton McGuire and Dayton Harrison are P6 and P7. So we have Dayton versus Dayton sitting on the grid right now. I have a feeling that's going to come back to bite us here, Patrick. I hope you're not. I hope you're better about it than I am, because I'll tell you right now that that is going to be something that absolutely comes back to bite me, because it just does sometimes. I forget every once in a while that that's a thing.
We will do our best to refrain from the 6-7 jokes here on track.
Come on.
I mean, there's going to be a limit, right? Actually, wait, who am I kidding? It's us, Brad. We will make pretty much every joke under the sun, just about, especially that lizard incident from Long Beach last season still lives in my brain rent-free.
Lizard.
But I mean, if we're going to have fun, then we're just going to go and have fun. If you're not having fun, then are you really doing it right? And here we go. We are getting ready, and cars are rolling out.
And this is the point where my PC screams, and I scream a little bit with it here as we get rolling for the start of this race. Trying to remember how this thing works, trying to remember how to do this thing we call commentary and production, because sometimes that's easier said than done. 58 cars rolling. How many will finish? What will happen here as we go? Tyler Stenick will lead the field off and get ready for a party. Barney has the flag here. Pace car is going to pull off, and this is where the worlds collide. This is where the world center of racing truly becomes the world centers of racing. It's not 24 hours, it's 1 hour. Barney has the green flag. We will get underway here with the Grand Touring prototypes going through. Tyler Stenick will lead us off. We are underway here for 60 minutes of racing. And let's see how they get along down into turn number 1 for the GTPs. Everybody gets away well. Now it is the the LMP2s will come along next as they go through. YouTube chat, you're saying the best words ever. I'm not going to say it. Patrick, I'm going to let you on the GTD starts say boogity, boogity, boogity. How's that sound? As the LMP2s cross the line,
sounds good.
They get going here. And now let's see how they do into turn 1. It's a very short jump into turn 1, I have to say. And GTDs are through, and, well, Patrick, say the famous words.
And a boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing in Daytona. The GTTs are making their way through turn 1. Incident free. That's what we like to see. GTD pros making their way on through. Incident free. And for the second time, because it's so nice, we're about to do it twice. And boogity, boogity, go. Racing time for GTD AMS racing through Daytona turn 1. And to, I think, both of our pleasant surprise, no carnage in the
carnage at all. It's kind of impressive. Meanwhile, this has been going on. The GTPs have already made it through the bus stop for the first time here. As we go here, LMP2s will be coming along, and GTDs, I've got to get used to saying this. First time through, LMP2s going into the bus stop. Let's see what sort of action could happen here. Ackley on McClendon with Jacob Dick and Kel Haugen, P3, P4 here. They have great runs early on through the bus stop. Little bit of a mix up there for the 501 of Jacob. That bus stop is now paved, so you have to watch out here as they go. Now, here comes the GTD pros. They will come through for the first time, and top 5 make their way through. There is one Mr. Hugo Alexander Ortiz, who is going to have a great run here early on. Ooh. Go through down the inside. Beautiful move on Paletti to get up into 4th place as they go. Big move. Brian Metterly already serving a drive-through here early on. Hugo Alexander Ortiz through NASCAR turn 4. Great move coming up to the tri-oval, already making moves up into 4th place. In the GTD category, Kelton Quick running there in 2nd place, not far behind. Up front, Tyler Stenick and Dustin Neerhoof have retained position. And Tyler Stenick, not even 2 laps in, already catching the back of the GTD field.
That is crazy. I mean, I know Daytona is not nearly as long as the Circuit de la Sarthe that we're on, and that was a stranded GTD I just saw there. Interesting stuff, but we do have Tyler Stenick, who I'm pouring through in a GTP, making his way through NASCAR turn 4, coming to the start-finish line here. reaching just about 200 miles an hour before hard on the brakes coming into turn 1. Very nicely done. Turn 1 is a very easy corner to mess up if you're not careful. It can really throw you off just if you brake too late. And Dustin Neerhoof getting really close, really getting near to the back of Tyler Stenek. And it's going to be a fight here as they are ready to start carving through GTD traffic. I mean, that came way quicker than I think either you or I were expecting here. I was expecting maybe about 10 minutes in roughly that we'd see traffic fights, but we're not even 5 minutes into this race yet.
I was thinking at least 3 laps. We didn't even get 2 laps here as these cars go along. Look at this. This is the beauty of Daytona, though. Traffic. Oh, man, I'm already saying the phrase, traffic giveth, traffic taketh away, and what do you know? It's already done such a thing going through as we enjoy this beautiful, beautiful scene here into the sunset going along, trying to just make this run. I don't know why that logo is broken all of a sudden. It was working, now it's not. Oh well, that's neither here nor there. Making the way through, getting around the Benjamin Bechtel, now through Seth Bosselman. This is the pace difference of the GTDs versus the GTPs here. Man, I'm going to have to get used to saying those that way here. GTPs versus GTDs battling their way along, running their way through. We watch Ethan Murphy here, who is working his way along in that Cadillac, and dive into turn 1. What happens here? GTDs can break a little bit further. Now, here's a point of contention that I don't think we've talked about. Turn 1. Why do I bring up turn 1? Well, with the newest iRacing build, there was a big old update into turn 1. And do you know what they changed into turn 1, Patrick?
I do not.
They took away the esports line, and what does that mean is, oh, that's Eminem's car being pushed a little bit wide. Not ideal, but welcome to traffic, ladies and gentlemen, in Elbows Out Racing. Things get a little bit chaotic here, there, and nowhere. I mean, look at this. We've got like 8 GTPs in one place. This is Matt Toppin all the way through Eric Wineland in P10. Going through, and whoa! What was that? That's Zach Nerney around.
Yeah, I think it was Nerney actually getting pushed wide there a bit earlier on as we pull up the PTR TV instant replay. And we'll get a better view of just how this incident happened. So, yeah, he was getting, I think, pushed a bit wide there. And, just got caught right on, I think that was Dwight Hibbs' Cadillac there. Just got spun around and boop, right into the wall. Rear wing comes off, bumpers off. And that is a BMW cosplaying as the first-gen Peugeot 9X8.
Welcome to Daytona, where things get wild. Look at this, Aston Martin versus Mercedes right now. This is Sermon Bourdon and Tyler Cook in the GTD Pro category here. Top 4 or 4th, 5th, and 6th battling. They're 5 seconds back from P3 right now. But look at this. This is how aggressive these guys are going to fight all the way through as they go along. Taking a look here as they go. Great defense from Sermon on Bourdon against Cook, Diltz, and Joel Bandera. 8 cars in this GTD category with Nicholas Paletti back in 9th and Hugo Alexander Ortiz unfortunately has had a moment, and Hugo Alexander Ortiz is out of this session. I'm not sure. I don't see an incident for Hugo, but he has disconnected from the session. Hopefully everything's okay there.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we'll see a good amount of action still. Probably more moments like that as we make our way through. We are not even 10 minutes into the race here at Daytona, and we've already seen quite a healthy amount of carnage, and speak of it, and that is a GT3 or GTD car getting absolutely spun around. We were talking about it with Dwight Hibbs a bit earlier on before the race, that the sausage curbs here will absolutely send you airborne if you're not careful. That is Colin Bourdon. I think he just went straight back to the pits there.
That he did. He towed through. Let's take another look at what happened here for Bourdon. This was running down into the bus stop, and I think just sausage curbs.
Oh, wow.
Actually, not even sausage curbs. I think that's just a case of the car getting a little upset on the handling and then unfortunately picking up a meatball out of the problems. And, well, in that case, nothing you can do. And he is into the pits. Meanwhile, here's P2. Here's P1, 2, and 3 battling it out. Nick Terrell trying to get that mystery mobile across the inside of that BMW Bank 126, trying to get a pass into the International Horseshoe, not able to do so. We're starting to see the field try to spread. Back in the back of GTPs, though, this is the chaos we have to deal with. Look at this. I mean, where do you go in this? Where do you go? What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, it's so difficult there just for traffic, and I think Aiden Garcia actually got kind of tucked in behind one of the GT3s to give Matt Toppin a good way around. And this is the difficult part because on most of this track, traffic can be pretty easy to navigate, but when you're going through the horseshoes, it is so difficult. The track is so narrow and so twisty that it's just really, you don't get a lot of opportunities to go for overtakes, even in class, let alone when you're trying to get through traffic. And now Matt Toppin is pretty much right on the gearbox of Eric Wineland as they are basically almost bump drafting each other through in true NASCAR fashion as they make their way to the Le Mans sausage curbs yet. And they will continue to race their hearts out in the heart of racing itself. Beautiful stuff here from our GTP field.
This is so much fun to watch going through and going along, and I'm just kind of trying to get an idea of what these guys are going to do as they run through here. As we get the PTR TV logo here added to the screen now, and the EOR logo. Felt weird not having those there, so we got to get those added just to show some love to, of course, ourselves and then the league. So
apparently, from what I am now hearing, Dwight Hibbs might have flipped in the bus stop.
I'm sorry, Dwight Hibbs, you did what?
It is what I have received information that Dwight Hibbs might have, he might have done some aerobatics.
That does sound like a Dwight Hibbs thing to do, I'm not going to lie. Let's see if we can dial up a quick replay. So here's the replay. I don't know that this is the moment, but it's what I have. Okay!
Okay!
And took somebody with him. All right, we're going to get one more good angle of that because, well, we can. And then we're going back to live pictures because there's way too much racing happening right now for me to be able to keep up with. So he just skateboarded off. And then, well, that's... The Fost Racing lack of luck is continuing, is all I can say. The Fost Racing lack of luck is continuing yet again, but to Dwight Hibbs' credit, he is back out again. So let's check in with each class here as it goes. I want to start off with LMP2 because I feel like LMP2 in real life and virtual doesn't get shown enough love. So let's talk about these guys for a second here. 48 minutes left to go. Dylan Ackley currently leading over Emily Milkey by 2 seconds and some change. Slowly working the way through the GTD field here. Going past, that is going to be, who is that? I know that car. That's Craig York going through and around here as we continue.
I mean, Dwight Hibbs would have got a gold medal in the Olympics for gymnastics, but unfortunately that doesn't exactly help his race here today. But, I mean, if that doesn't scream Daytona, then I don't know what does as we watch Dylan Ackley make his way through this GT3 traffic. GTD, I gotta get saying that too. And there's another stricken GTD car just right after turn 1. And that is Michael Bowman, the number 199, just kind of stuck there, just kind of a sitting duck. He picked a good moment to try to rejoin, but I'm sure the LMP2 traffic and the other GTD cars aren't exactly thrilled about that one.
Although, you know what?
It was a very safe rejoin.
It was a good rejoin. And you know what? While we're talking about the GTD category. Let's go ahead and just pull them up and look at them. So looking at pace right now, times on your screen, that is the fastest lap that they ran. Now, let's switch that over and look at last lap, because one of the things that's got my interest here is Kelton Quick is quick. So if we watch here with that second place car, of course, you have SRC's Patrick Rich, who has gotten through. But now, of course, the car of Kelton Quick is going to try to make his way along. Clayball there in third place as well, trying to find the way through and just trying to find some sort of a pass. Will there be a pass for the lead of GTD into turn one? Certainly going to jam on the brakes. Going to look for it. Not able to clear a pass, but definitely looking good. And Aaron Clayball here in third place, looking pretty quick as well. On board with Clayball, trying to find a way through, just trying to find some way to get into that top three. Definitely going to be trying here and giving it the old, I don't want to call it the old college try, but definitely as soon as possible here as we go into the West Horseshoe.
Yeah, he's giving it everything here. You certainly can't fail him for a lack of effort here, as he is continuing to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at trying to get this position to jump high, but GTP traffic to also kind of consider as well. So, I mean, Patrick Rich, he can close the gap, but it's going to be a bit of a tough task here. We'll see if he can get it done. It is going to be battle of the Porsches. Is it going to be Kelton Quick going to make quick work of Patrick Rich here? Or is Patrick going to go ahead and stay in P1 in GTD? Whoever comes out on top, it's not going to be easy as we head over to the battle between Christian Cardona and Steve Groninga, which I feel like I might mispronounce that name, but still good battling here nevertheless.
So Steve sent me a message earlier. Steve's last name is Groninga. It's like Veronica, but Groninga. So we massively butchered that last week, and I do apologize to Steve. So we have fixed that for this week, which I'm sure he will appreciate.
And then there's me still butchering it, but we will work on it. Names have never been our strong suit. Remember when I first joined, it was Maturely.
I feel like with some of these drivers, we need to just mispronounce their names for fun. Emily Milkey, great dive down the inside there for the LMP2 driver going through, getting past Cardona here, who has Groninga battling behind. Steve certainly trying to find a way through if he can. Looking good here, following through the kink down into the West Horseshoe as we watch this battle for fifth in GTD. Going through this battle is going to continue for a bit here, but Steve definitely looking like he is in a great position to go through. And also, this was Steve's image with a McLaren race suit. I need to ask him more about that because I'm sure there's a story there that I certainly want to know for Steve. I know Steve has quite experience in iRacing. His name was found all over the internet when I was looking it up as one Dayton McGuire. There we go, mispronouncing names. Dayton McGuire here, spinning in P13, dropping down the order, gets back on the track in that Lamborghini, but that's going to hurt big time.
The two Daytons come together at Daytona, and unfortunately, only one Dayton can be supreme at Daytona. And unfortunately, it is not McGuire this time around as we continue to check out everybody, this time in GTD Pro. Followed by William Westbrook, also pretty much right in the mix there, the top three in the class. Fighting for P20 overall, P1 in the GTD Pros as they continue. Now they are on to the high-speed banking that Daytona is pretty much well known for. It's one of the few tracks where the banking is well known in two separate racing categories at least. So it's always fun to see, and I think I just saw either a GTD AM or a LMP2 go a bit off there in the back. But regardless, Patrick Rich is still holding on to that position as now we go to a battle with Matt Toppin in that very pretty looking Cadillac, trying to do battle with Aiden Garcia. The multiple different racing series. It's prevalent IndyCar, and that's a bit of a late send and a spin there from Matt Toppin. And that beautiful battle comes to an unfortunate end.
Not ideal at all to see that battle happen. Horseshoe, and unfortunately for Matt Toppin, that does relegate him into P8 currently. Quite a bit back here at the moment. 41 minutes left to go in this race. Eric Wineland here has won Mr. Michael Bowman for company there. That is a GTV versus GTP though, and as we know, the GTPs will run away pretty quick. Tyler Stenick is not in a comfortable position right now, I have to say. And that is, who is that sitting backwards right now? That is, I believe, Matthew Monroe, who is sitting backwards, who's now in the pits. Not ideal to see that. And, well, as we go back here up towards the front, I mean, again, you can see just packets of cars getting mixed in with some ridiculous traffic here and there. And it really does become a case of what do you do to get past the traffic here? Let's hop on board really quick with Cody Peredato and see what happens. Peredato has to be careful there going in through turn one, heading down towards the International Horseshoe we go, and hard on the brakes down the inside. Will the GTDs leave space? They certainly look like they will. And now it's floor it down towards the kink. Go as fast as you can through. And now, there we go. Good run. That is past the 295, who is running along here. The FAF paint scheme going through. There is Benjamin Bechtel as well. I'll tell you what, I feel like we could watch nothing but replays all night if we really wanted to. That is Tyler Stenick. He's had a big off. He drops down the order. He's down to third. Make it fourth place. Big moment there for the leader as he now falls down the order. It looks like he might have gotten away with it, though.
Yeah, a bit of a rare mistake there for Tyler Stenick. He's usually one of the most consistent drivers on the grid, but it shows even that sometimes even the greats can make mistakes here, as now we have Cody Peredato, who has been a known threat in the prototype classes for the last couple of seasons now. In GTD, LMP2, Cody Peredato has been known as a threat. And we know Tyler Stenick mostly for his GT3, well, back then, GT3 exploits. And now he's trying his hand at the prototypes, and so far he's putting up a pretty good fight against Cody Peredato. They're going to go side by side. Acura versus Porsche. It's going to be a fun battle. Tyler Stenick looks like he is going to hold on to the position for now as they fired up the inside against the Mustang, and they succeed. In this battle will continue into the horseshoes as they make their ways through the first couple of corners. And now we bring you a PTR TV instant replay. Let's see what has happened to one Nearhoof.
That is Nearhoof spinning around there, but it looks like he was able to save it. Tyler Stenick, this is what I'm really curious about. What happened to the Stenick? And it looks like just overcooked the braking zone. Literally nothing but just a forced error. Unforced error, actually. Correction. Let me correct myself here. Nothing but an unforced error for him. One more replay here coming through of it, and hard on the brakes for Fair Enough Racing, and yeah, just not able to do anything with it. Unfortunately lost the car out, rejoins, and then had to cut all the way through the grass into the motorcycle West Horseshoe there, and then just that's going to be looked at later, I'm sure. We've also had one moment with one Mr. Kyle O'Grady. The O stands for Oh No for Pedro's Tacos. And that's a little bit of a tap there, and a spin in the West Horseshoe. A little bit of a moment there, but I think able to save it out and get going yet again. Yes, he is, as we go through. A few drivers opting for pit stops now with 37 minutes to go, but nothing too notable here as Cody Peredato has been passed by Tyler Stenick.
Yeah, I mean, it's just adds to the amount of shenanigans that you're going to see here at Daytona. I mean, that's a track that we know and love for that specific thing. And on top of all the shenanigans that we see on this track, we also see some really good battles and some really excellent racing. And we see a lot of times of just one driver trying to chase down another, and that's exactly what we got here with Emily Milkey trying to chase down class leader Dylan Ackley. The time kind of fluctuating around 9/10 to a second away. We will see which of these two drivers will be on top. It looks like Dylan Ackley might have got a better run onto the banking, starting to pull away with that gap there to Emily Milky. So it looks like this one could be kind of running away from Emily here, but we know Dylan Ackley is a force to be reckoned with, but so is Emily. And another thing that we like to say is that it's not over until the checker flag waves, and we are going to continue to see this battle develop. But Dylan Ackley's got some massive pace in that LMP2. We've seen it the last couple of seasons as well, and it's pretty much still showing that he's still got it in that LMP2 category here tonight. And here's some more traffic shenanigans here as Emily Milky will now get passed around the outside by, I believe that is Zachary Nerney in his BMW. And yes, it is. And he is going to go ahead and make his way through the LMP2 traffic, making his way through the horseshoe now. He does have class leader Dylan Ackley up ahead. Now, this is kind of a double-edged sword here for Dylan Ackley because, yeah, he's going to enjoy the bit of a buffer that he's going to continue to build against Emily Milky at this point. Dylan Ackley and Zachary Nerney to essentially wipe each other out of this race if things go terribly sideways.
Look at this track map in the bottom right. Look at how spread out it's into this. Think about this. We're 25 minutes in, and this is how spread out this class is. It's very, very... Well, not even the class, it's how spread out the entire field is. It's kind of crazy to see, I'm not going to lie, as we go through Dylan Ackley 2 seconds up on Emily Milky. I want to check in here. Tyler Stenick, Cody Peridotto carving their way through traffic, swerving around cars, trying to make something work, getting the slipstream. Tyler Stenick not having as good of a run here. Nick Terrell, 6.5 seconds to the good right now. Here we go. Hard on the brakes we go. How is this going to last? Side by side into the bus stop. And and that is Cody Peridotto spun out by Tyler Stenick out through the Le Mans chicane. And yes, it should be called the Le Mans chicane. I still call it the bus stop. I don't really care right now, but that is a big moment, and that drops Stenick all the way down the order yet again. And Cody Peridotto drops as well. It looks like Stenick stopped and had a moment on the exit there. So they have come back together here. You can see the draft trying to be used through with the 47 to David Reynolds, and now they go through. Oh, do we dial up a replay of that one?
I mean, I think that one kind of speaks for itself there, Brad. It's just two hard racing rivals. They have a lot of respect for each other. First time that we've actually, in recent times at least, we've really seen these drivers compete because they've usually been in different classes. Usually Stenick is in what's now GTD, and Peridotto would usually be at the top class. So two drivers who aren't exactly all too familiar with racing each other in the same category. Kel Haugen and Kylan Bruce, two very rapid drivers in the LMP2 cars. They are rapid last season. They are rapid this season, having a good old time battling it out here through the traffic on the banks of Daytona. And this is just part of what we've come to expect. Although I would be remiss in saying that I mean, we kind of knew that Peridotto and Stenick were going to come to blows eventually. I mean, that's just the nature of this track. It gets very wide and then very narrow.
They're back through the Le Mans chicane again and again. Just there with each other going through, but this time able to leave enough room going along. No side-by-side action there. I mean, you got to be brave to make a dive into the Le Mans chicane, certainly. And they tried it here. Now watch what happens. Peridotto has the slipstream, has the draft down this long speedway, down into the tri-oval we go, through the banking, and then it's a hard dive left-hander into turn one. You don't get to go outside of the white lines. Finally, turn one they'll go, and that does mean that Stenick had the advantage into turn one. Through the kink they go, or through the S they go, now into the International Horseshoe as they come around. So that battle nowhere near over. Up in GTD Pro, currently it is Chris Stewart and Travis Bell, P1, P2, with William Westbrook in third. We'll see here if a pass can be made going through the run. 0.7 of a second, the gap from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. And they're running very consistent lap times with each other as well.
That is just extra parts of what we love about this track. Travis Bell is going to continue to put pressure onto Chris Stewart. He's going to try to make the move happen in that number 55 Porsche. We'll see if he can get it done. Now, typically the car in front has had a pretty solid advantage. I mean, we saw just a few moments earlier with Dylan Ackley and Emily Milky, but that gap is closed up again too. He's got GTPs just roaming on past, the mystery machine just firing on by, LMP2s directly behind, and it's going to be a late braking move there, and he gets past one of the GTDs, but he does have Dylan Ackley right behind, which could either work out really well for Travis or really roughly.
On board here with Dylan Ackley, and as you can see, Dylan Ackley clears. Not a care in the world there. That is the difference in the prototypes coming through. And of course, Dylan Ackley trying to keep up with Emily Milky here, or trying to keep away from Emily Milky, as that is not how Emily Milky needed that West Horseshoe to go here. Checking in back with Matthew Marin. This is a McLaren versus Mercedes versus Aston Martin battle between Benjamin Bechtel, Matthew Marin, and Bob Carey in GTD P9, 10, and 11 respectively. And then behind them, it's Pinero, the Panera driver, battling it out with Kyle O'Grady. And Pinero, you don't have a sponsorship from Panera? What are we doing here? Why is there no sponsorship from Panera? I have to ask the $1 million question. What are we doing?
Yeah, this is a interesting situation here. Yeah, I can't really make heads or tails of this either. I mean, I know these cars are trying to fight it out with Daniel Pinero with Kyle O'Grady just behind, but interesting scenes here at Daytona.
I will agree here as we get going along and through, trying to see what is going to happen as we have officially hit the halfway mark here. Steve McClendon putting on a good battle right now with Kylan Bruce and Kel Haugen as they go along, dive down towards the inside. Can he make the pass stick? And somebody has spun it around there on the entrance to the speedway as well. It looks like Trading Paints has decided to refresh right now. What an unopportunistic time for Steve McClendon to get a new paint job in the middle of a race. Why would you, Steve? Come on now.
Car in front of him has decided to be his twin and also get a bit of a paint refresh, although he's got the white rims, so that's going to at least make him stand out a bit. Color has returned to one of the machines. It's returned to Kylan Bruce just up the road, as Steve McClendon still forgot that color TV was invented almost 100 years ago at this point. He's still running that. Oh, there it is. Now he is re-emerged to color TV in that beautiful green and blue machine. Some drivers do have black flags from what I'm seeing. Doug Greer in GTD and Matt Toppin in GTP, both with black flags. I can promise you that's most likely due to track limit violations, which it's not hard to get on this track. There's a lot of areas where, I mean, we saw it earlier, you could just overcook the brakes, especially through the horseshoes, take a bit too much sausage curb in the Le Mans chicane or bust out. You can just violate those track limits and do that too many times and you will be shown that black flag. So it really hurts, but it's also conveniently around the time where we're going to start seeing those mandatory pit stops here, Brad.
Mandatory pit stops with 4 tires coming up here, and that is what we're seeing right now. Matt Toppin having a long old pit stop because I believe he got dinged for speeding on pit entry, if I am not mistaken, and I am trying to look and see if I have anything to confirm such a thing. And perhaps I do, but I'm not seeing it. So you know what? I'm just going to tell you that's what it is. And if I'm here, beautiful run, 26 minutes in. Let's take a look here from the high line as we go along. Ethan Murphy there running in second place. Nick Terrell here showing in first place for me, even though I'm slightly confused on where they're at on the track. 11 seconds separating them at the moment as they go through and along. Malik Bass in third place here, trying to battle it out with Ethan Murphy just ahead as they go past the 1-4 5. Interesting to see the runs coming through here as they'll come down the front stretch. And there it is, pit in, and that will relegate second place to Malik Bass as he goes through. Great run for him. And continuing just to watch as pit stops mix everything up here. William Westbrook, 0.7 of a second his way along.
Indeed, and I'm actually surprised that we didn't see these pit stops a bit earlier, considering that this is a pretty high-speed track. At minimum, I figured the drivers would at least burn through some fuel, but nevertheless, the pit stops are tires. In a pit stop, you can't do half your tires, although personally, from this perspective, I can't understand why you would only take 2 tires. Might as well just get the fresh rubber on all 4 sides. So you gotta get 4 tires. It is the requirement here at Elbows Out Racing. So you'll get that, you'll get some fuel, you'll get back on your way. And pretty much makes all these races a one-stop, but strategy is something that pretty much can really make or break your race. It's a massive cornerstone of endurance racing, especially when here on the channel we actually go towards the 90-minute races throughout points of the season. And I know some drivers, and that is a LMP2 off, I think we have a battle here for the GTD lead. Kelton Quick trying to make quick work of Patrick Rich once again, but so far it has just not been easy. And also, not to mention, there is a Red Bull themed GTP just behind, trying to make moves here, trying to go ahead and fire on past it. It looked like something might have actually happened. Oh, there's the Red Bull. Oh, it's fighting with the Cadillac. So Cadillac versus BMW. That could end up pretty dicey as they make their way to the Le Mans chicane, going side by side. The Cadillac does get the move done. Eric Wineland currently sitting in P3 in that number 21 Chrome Cadillac. Got ahead of Ethan Murphy there on the banking, and he is just letting that American V8 just sing around Daytona.
That was kind of scary to see. I'm not going to lie here. 23 minutes left to go in this race. Stephen McClendon trying to go for a dive. He's going to absolutely roast me later for calling him Steven in the broadcast here. But one Mr. Steve McClendon trying to go for a dive here on Kel Haugen, trying to get a pass through. They have not pit yet. This is for second position on track. They still need to pit and take their mandatory 4 tires and see how that mixes things up and what they can do. You got to be real careful on pit entry to not mess it up here. Also, we have a battle for the lead in GTD. That's what we were looking at here a few minutes ago as, just a pure gaggle, as one Mr. Corey Silva says, comes down and through. This is Kelton Quick trying to find a way to get past Patrick Murphy there in the way at the moment. And then, of course, behind Ethan Murphy is one Aiden Garcia. So trying to carve through, trying to find a way through. Ethan Murphy will find a dive to the inside. Aiden is going to have to wait for the speedway to get through, but it should not affect too much time here as they carve along, continue along. McClendon now past Kel Haugen, because Kel Haugen has elected to pit that LMP2 out of P2 here and find his way along, and so has Dylan Ackley. So for a moment, McClendon is in the lead, as that is an LMP2 with absolutely no front end. Who is that? Is that Woodmansey? No, that is not. Is that Emily? That's not Emily Milky. That is Kylan Bruce. Now, what has happened to Kylan Bruce to cause such trouble here? All right, so Kylan already had damage here. And Kylan was trying to drive it back into the pits and didn't even have a front end. Had a meatball, no front end, tried to drive it in. This is what happened, though. This is the initial incident. And locked up the right front. There was no good angle of that here. You can see that right front lock up.
And that is such an easy thing to do. It doesn't even matter what car you're driving. I've done it in a Super Formula. I've locked up at that exact same corner. It is so easy to lock up your tires at that particular horseshoe. And I mean, it's not even the first time we've seen it tonight. I think we saw Tyler Stanek do it a bit earlier on as well, in the earlier stages of the race. So that is one of the corners that can really catch you off guard if you are not careful.
It is very, very tricky to go through and along here. So you just sort of have to figure it out and make it work, which is, again, easier said than done. Malik Bass here, P2, 9 seconds back from Nick Terrell, going past Emily Milky in the LMP2 category as they go through and along here. Battle for the lead in GTD-AM at the moment as we see Patrick Rich and Kelton Quick still continuing this battle. 20 minutes left to go, and continuing to see just prime-time racing come through as everyone is bringing their way in here to the exit. Steve McClendon exiting the pits now, coming along, and will go out. He'll rejoin into third. Currently waiting on Nick Terrell to pit in, Malik Bass to pit in, David Reynolds to pit in from the LMP2 lead, Joel Bandera to pit in from the GTD Pro lead, Patrick Rich, Kelton Quick, and GTD-AM. And right as I say it, Nick Terrell will give it up. Malik Bass will lead another lap here. 19 minutes, 30 seconds to go, and a gaggle of cars just ahead.
Yeah, and that's the tricky thing about the pits is look like there's a stricken McLaren off the side of the road there as we watch from current race leader Malik Bass's POV, pretty much right in the middle of GTD and GTD Pro traffic. And he's just going to use all that horsepower of his BMW V8 hybrid, making his way through the GTD traffic. Just going to try to cut it up the inside of the second horseshoe, and he gets it done. Nicely done there. A good clear track ahead, at least short term. And then he'll get on the massive banking. Hopefully he's got a good pair of sunglasses, because that sun looks mighty bright here in Daytona. As the sun begins to set at the Sunshine State, he is now onto the banking. He's going to close the gap to the McLaren. Gets by, no issue at all. As a race, it is exactly what you need, even though you are still expected to make a pit stop, but he's still doing everything right.
I mean, hey, if you're going to get some time in the front, you might as well have some fun. And honestly, with so little traffic around him, he's probably in the best position right now to be doing so as he'll come along. This is where the sun is really problematic, is heading down into the tri-oval until it's blocked by the grandstands, and then heading down out of the exit of the West Horseshoe is really where it kind of hurts. The plane landing in the background, kind of amazing to see the Ferris wheel, which is absolutely amazing at night. And coming through here, Malik Bass taking us on a tour of a lap of Daytona as we hop in with Emily Milky now in LMP2. Again, watching back. Bob Carey, Matt Marin right now with a great little battle. Matthew Marin, P13 here in the GTD category. Nothing beats a JetBlue holiday or Jet 2. What is that? Here's the problem with memes and funny things. They happen way too fast. This JetBlue Airways, Mercedes, AMG going along here with Matthew Marin behind in the McLaren. Yeah, this is a fun one. I lost my train of thought.
I guess we can say that nothing beats a JetBlue Mercedes, although he is currently P13 in class, being chased down by P14 in class, but nevertheless, he's still putting on a pretty good fight. Matthew Marin trying to close the gap to the Mercedes just up the road ahead. We'll see if he can get things done. And memes have always really found a way to kind of just show up at any kind of point during, particularly our broadcast, but it just in any sport, memes always do tend to kind of just spawn out of thin air. As now we check on board with Zach Mosley. Always good to see some accurate representation here. It was a car that was actually pretty much absent last season from the GT3 field, and now it is here in GTD, as he's trying to make his way around Christian Cardona in Mercedes. We'll see if Zach Mosley can get it all done. He's going to give it an effort. He's going to try with every fiber of his being, but As we've talked about earlier, Brad, with just over 15 minutes to go, it could be really difficult to get an overtake done here. You also got Benjamin Bechtel right behind and a BMW making his way on through.
Yeah, going through here, continuing this battle. It's really kind of exciting to watch here. And that is Malik Bass, our overall race leader, who is going to, work his way along there. A little bit of miscommunication through traffic going through. Great battle to watch there at the moment. Pit stops for everyone except for Patrick Rich, Kelton Quick, and Malik Bass at the moment. So right now, it does look like it looks like Malik Bass trying to pull a pit stop gap here. If he can get about 54 seconds, he will be in a position where he can battle for the win. So if Malik Bass is not out of this, is basically what I'm trying to say, is that Malik Bass is not out of the running for the win of this race. He may be able to pull this one off. It just depends. And he's got about 45 seconds, but here's the advantage. He'll have 15 minutes on fresh tires. He'll have 10-minute better tires than Nick Terrell will. So Malik Bass will come out in about P3, I believe, maybe P4, and this will put him in a position where he can try to go for a win. Great pit entry, great nail into the stall here. Let's see if he has enough to go through. We are going to pull up our pit stop tracker on the side for him and see how it goes through as we watch.
Yeah, we will just kind of have to see as the mystery machine is making it no mystery that Nick Terrell is very quick in that Porsche. He's been having a pretty good day today. He's been leading most of this race in the GTP class, so we'll see where Malik Bass field. Nick Terrell I think actually is still behind Malik Bass, so that is a masterclass of an overcut there from Malik Bass. Still in P1, that is massive for Malik, as now you got Nick Terrell just kind of stuck fighting through the traffic. He will get past Craig Yor there in the Marlboro McLaren. Something that you normally say during a classic Formula One broadcast, but we got to hear tonight as Nick Terrell running the Kansas City Chiefs helmet, trying to see if he can make that Porsche go farther than the Chiefs did during this current NFL season.
Ouch, you just hurt somebody. It wasn't me, but somebody. We have a lot of football fans in the league, so you might be getting some DMs. Just remember, he said it, not me. Malik Bass, 20.7 seconds. That goes to show that 2 second quicker in and out there. I say it, and I say it, and I say it. Practice your pit stops, and they will pay off. And right there, Malik Bass showing that I don't just say things for fun here. Nick Terrell does have some pace, though. We'll see if Nick Terrell can close this thing up here as they go along. Of course, current lap, it does look like lap time-wise, it's a 122.98 to a 124.82. Now, there is coming out of the pits to factor in there, so gap is closing as we watch these lap sectors continue along. I'm curious to see where Malik Bass can gain the time back that he had, because Malik Bass in the middle of an absolute mess of traffic. Nick Terrell will get caught up here, and this is going to prove to really make or break the race where the traffic comes in. That is the 47 of David Reynolds LMP2 getting through and along right behind as they go through the kink down into the West Horseshoe. 12 minutes left to go. We have a battle for the overall win on our hands, and currently this is your closest battle on track.
And what a good battle it is going to be here, Brad. Malik Bass is a known quantity here in Elbows Out Racing. Nick Terrell, pretty new to the scene, but he's already made a mighty fine impact in that mystery machine. He is going to go ahead and try to solve the mystery of can he win this race. He's had good pace today, but Malik Bass is on fresher but colder tires. Granted, it is the Sunshine State here in Florida, so things can get pretty hot pretty quickly. So, oh no, and it all just ends in tears as Malik Bass just gets caught up in traffic. And what a heartbreaking way for a potential race win to come crashing down, literally.
replay coming up. I don't have words. What happened?
That is so heartbreaking.
So something else happened with... So this is Nathan Hemperly. I think this is where things really started out. So Hemperly was going through, and it was Hemperly and... I don't even... It looks like Matt Toppin. So Kyle O'Grady was the first car that went through. We're going to see what happened to Kyle O'Grady. And then Hemperly, no fault of his own. And he is just... I mean, he's doing everything right trying to get off the track. And unfortunately for Malik Bass... I mean...
yeah, that...
He's off the throttle. You don't expect the car to roll like that. That is...
Just talk about being at the wrong place at the wrong time. That is just unfortunate. I think Malik Bass had a really good shot of winning this race, honestly. I think he had the pace, the tires would have fired up in time, and I think he had a really good shot of winning here, at minimum a podium. But yeah, I mean, that's just part of endurance racing, part of racing in general, really. Sometimes you're just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
I haven't had an incident leave me speechless in a very long time, and that right there has absolutely left me speechless. I was not expecting that in any way, shape, or form. What a heartbreaking way. He had the strategy perfect. And it's not Hemperly's fault at all in that one either, I have to say. Hemperly was doing everything right to try to make his way through. That's just... wow. All I can say is wow on that one.
Yeah.
Back to the...
Yeah.
Man, back to the on-track action here.
Let's just get back to racing.
Yeah, back to the on-track action here. Liam Branco and Emily Milkey currently battling it out here, going through this battle for P3 and LMP2, about a second or a tenth and a half away, not a second and a half away, a tenth and a half away as they go along here, heading down through Speedway 3 and 4. Slipstream while you can, now dive out. The problem is as soon as you pull out of that slipstream, you hit the wall of air. Slipstream will give you some pace, but if you don't have the overspeed, it doesn't matter. Side by side, they'll come down the triangle here, go through underneath the start-finish line, down into turn 1. The inside will be Emily Milkey, and Liam Branco will be to the outside. He has to brake a little bit earlier, and that gives Emily Milkey the run. Emily Milkey will retain P3 in LMP2 for the moment.
Yeah, hopefully this battle can end when the checkered flag waves instead of the unfortunate moment earlier on. But, I mean, once again, that's just kind of how racing unfolds there, doesn't it? As we see Emily Milken now trying to run away from Liam Branco here. Liam going to go to try to catch Emily. But we know Emily is pretty quick, so if Emily does lose this, it certainly won't be without a fight. Liam Branco is going to have to throw everything he can at that 876 to try to get past. There is a GTP just up the road ahead. It will be no issue whatsoever to this LMP2 battle, as we are down to under 7 minutes remaining here in round 2 of the season at Daytona. It's been a fun race, lots of drama, lots of battles, and still about a little over 6.5 minutes left to go of action as these drivers make their way on through. Aiden Garcia, who's had a pretty quiet race, followed by Eric Wineland, who is trying to go ahead and try to catch up to Aiden. All I will say, it is weird seeing Eric Wineland not with like a spike type of livery, because I feel like every time I've seen him, he's always had that LMP2 spike livery. I think it'll still look pretty good on the Cadillac as he tries to go ahead and roar his way by the GTD traffic.
So, a little fun fact for you. iRacing is like the love of my life when it comes to IMSA. They're how I got my wife into IMSA, and iRacing, like, they send us congratulation cards for our wedding. They're great. They get all my money when I go to Daytona because I'm obviously going to buy a Rexy Lego set because why would I not? They need a GTP category, and everyone's been trying to convince them. They have Rexy, they have Spike, they have Roxy. Everyone's trying to get them to run some sort of like shark-themed GTP, and I really wish they would do it and hurry it up. I think they would be great to run through. The problem is if they do, they're running Porsche, and that I don't want. Even though Porsche is great and grand and all the things, I would rather them run a Cadillac personally. Side by side, Travis Bell, William Westbrook. Heading towards the kink. Now that is a way for things to heat up very quickly. Olive Garden, when you're here, your family.
Yeah, I mean, you love to see things get spicy. Hopefully it's not too hot to handle for these drivers. I mean, we're down to 5 minutes to go in the race, so it's pretty much make or break now. If you're going to see an opportunity to go for a move, you are going to take the opportunity. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. As we are seeing a Porsche on Porsche violence here. Kelton Quick trying to quickly get away, but Patrick Rich going to try to send him on the outside of the horseshoe. A little bit of fender tapping there, trading a little bit of paint there. They're going to go side by side. A very nice move around the outside for Patrick Rich, and he's going to get the move. Is there going to be a switchback? They will not switch back indeed. Patrick Rich making quick work of Kelton Quick as he is going to continue to try to cement his place at the top of the GTD field. It is a fun battle in the closing moments of this 1 hour of Daytona, and these two are still going to battle out. Kelton had a bit of a slipstream there, just wasn't quick enough to get that move done and dusted, but he'll still have another couple laps to try to make it happen. He'll go around NASCAR turn 4 and try to close in that gap to retake the lead. But considering Patrick's pace right now, that is much easier said than done here.
These two just pit within a lap of each other within the past lap. So here's the thing. They have ran this long, and so they are running fresh tires, absolute bare bones minimum fuel, and this is just a pure, just knuckle-dragging fight to the end. They are not going to let it go at all. This is going to be an interesting one to watch for them as they go through. Another good battle to watch here. Travis Bell, William Westbrook. Again, we saw those two when you're here, your family, unless you are Travis Bell trying to find some family. It's not William Westbrook here as they go through. Emily Milky, Liam Branco, they are battling it out yet again, heading down the tri-oval into turn 1. That is Christopher Ondera in a Porsche, not a Mustang, who is going there along the inside, going through and keeping this run alive, trying to keep things going and moving and grooving. Kelton Quick has dropped a lot of time here to Patrick Rich through the infield section. Got to wonder if there was a minor mistake into the West Horseshoe because it's over a second now, the gap. So that battle has neutralized out here. As we go, 2.5 minutes left to go. Nick Terrell, through a series of wild events, currently leads with 6.9 seconds to the good.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about the heartbreak for Malik Bass. I mean, we've talked about it quite a bit, but the point still stands even before and after that fact. Nick Terrell's pace has been really good here tonight. He's shown really good consistency. He's been quick. He's been fast. He's pretty much just done everything right here. And honestly, his lead in this race really is not surprising. He has had a very good run. He has managed traffic almost perfectly. And, I mean, he really has just not put a foot wrong. Now, Mystery Machine is showing that his pace is no mystery. He is doing fantastic work here with a minute and a half to go.
I believe this would be the first win for Nick Terrell as well, if I'm not mistaken, unless I am absolutely wrong on that. And if I've said that and I'm wrong, somebody yell at me later. As we go through. 1:20 left to go. Now, they run 1:34 laps in GTP, so this is the final lap starting for Nick Terrell. Will be the final time around here. Side by side, look at this. Emily Milky, Liam Branco. Liam Branco with a little bit of a tap there, going in through the tri-oval down into turn 1. Emily Milky defends it, and Emily Milky will need to defend it one, maybe two more times here, if possible. The run to the speedway, though, that is going to be the big key. The run off of the Le Mans chicane down through 3-4 into the tri-oval. That's going to be the hard part for Emily. Emily needs to try to build some gap while it's still possible.
I mean, yeah, it could happen here. I mean, we've actually seen some pretty fun battling here just in recent times between these two. And I don't think this battle is going to end until this lap ends here. So Liam is going to have a slipstream, but can he make the most of it? That is going to be the question. Emily has done pretty good to run away from Liam here at the closing stages of the race with about 15 seconds to go on the race timer. And I think Emily just got a better exit going onto the banking. And now we are about to see Nick Terrell make his way to the checker flag. And final lap has been called. The white flag is out. And Nick Terrell is racing on to victory.
Mystery Machine here going through. What's new, Scooby-Doo? I believe it is a win. Ruby Racks coming through. And Nick Terrell will take the win in GTP here for 60 minutes of Daytona. Coming through and along here, Dylan Ackley now coming out of the infield section onto Speedway 1 going through. Great run here. Chris Stewart will be crossing the line for the checkered flag this time by, as Chris Stewart in GTD Pro is coming towards the bus stop. And now Kel Haugen, Maxwell Woodman, see they swap. Emily Milky has crossed the line. Kel Haugen has crossed the line. Drivers all starting to cross the line here and come through. Patrick Rich currently 0.6 of a second. His lead coming through if he can hold on and go through. Chris Stewart has had a great race. He's been dominant up front today. Started third, has held on to first since he got here, and by 4 seconds, it's going to be a great win for him. Dylan Ackley has about half a lap to go on his end currently for LMP2. He'll cross the line. There is the win there. Now let's jump back in for GTD as they go through. They have a car in between going through the Le Mans chicane. That is the 386 of Joel Bandera. That is not what we need if we want to see the run. Kelton Quick needs to try to get a run through Speedway 3, Speedway 4. Can it be done here? Trying to go, but now stuck in the side draft. And that is going to neutralize everything for Kelton Quick. Kelton Quick, unfortunately, is going to end up in second place, as Joel Bandera will end up last in GTD Pro here. But great run from Patrick Rich, defending when it needed to be defended. Crosses the line, gets the victory there, and now all that's left is Dylan Ackley, who has come across the line. Dylan Ackley has gotten the win in LMP2. What a wild 60 minutes of Daytona this was.
It wouldn't be Daytona if it wasn't wild here, Brad, and we had a fantastic night here. There's been thrills, there's been spells, good racing, heartbreaking wrecks, and overall just peak Daytona racing, as we do see the Mystery Machine burning it down here at Daytona as the founding fathers intended. You love to see it. Good race from everybody here tonight.
That's a $250,000 fine, and if you get that reference, you are my type of person. Let's pull up the post-race results here on the night. And here we go, full screen race results incoming, starting with GTP. After 37 laps of racing in an hour, we end up with the following: Nick Terrell, Ethan Murphy, Eric Wineland, Aiden Garcia, Tyler Stenick, Zachary Nerney, Matt Toppin, Dustin Neerhoof, Malik Bass, Dwight Hibbs, and then, of course, we did have Cody Peredato, who ended up in 11th place. LMP.
All right, in LMP2, our results are McClendon, and then everybody else a lap down. Emily Milky, Liam Bronco, Kel Haugen, Maxwell Woodman C, David Reynolds, followed by Brian Medley, Jacob Dick, and Kylan Bruce, rounding out the top 10 and rounding out the entirety of our LMP2 category.
Moving on to GTD Pro, Chris Stewart with a great win, 4.1 seconds. I saw somebody in YouTube chat say shake and bake. So Chris Stewart definitely shaking and baking there over Travis Bell, William Westbrook, Don, Nicholas Paletti, Austin Diltz in P9, Hugo Alexander Ortiz in P10. That's the entirety of the GTD Pro field. And now for the GTD field, Patrick Rich with that great win over Kelton Quick there. Kelton quick there, holding him off in the end. Aaron Clayball, P3. Joshua Bibb, Dayton Harrison, Andre Wedderburn, Daniel Pinero, Christopher Ondera, Steve Groniga, Christian Cardona, your top 10. P11. Benjamin Bechtel, Bob Carey, Matthew Marin, Zach Mosley, Dayton McGuire, Kyle O'Grady, Michael Bowman, Craig Yor, Rick Hughes, Philip Keyser, and then rounding off this 27-car GTD Amfield, Patrick Rich, Seth McMillan, Jason Flew, Doug Greer, Nathan Hemperly, Matthew Monroe, Seth Fosselman, and Matthew Santer Sierro, the 27 GTDs that took on this field. What do you say we go do some post-race interviews here? Patrick, I am going to have you talk to one Mr. Nick Terrell, who on our screen is still doing no nuts.
All right, I think that's a fantastic idea. And there he is. Hey, Nick Terrell, how you doing tonight? Fantastic win. How do you feel?
Survived my own mistake, and others are out there. Man, I had a lucky rabbit's foot in my pocket or something on that one where I was chasing Malik down and we ran into some other cars, and oh my gosh. But yeah, I think you saw me still doing donuts while you're on replay, because I've been over at this point. I was pretty embarrassed when I launched off the turtle curbs and had to, luckily I was coming in a pit within a lap or two anyway, and somehow didn't even use the repair, so I didn't even need it. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, you guys actually ran into some traffic pretty early on in the race. So I think it was only like 2 minutes in, and then we just saw you guys run into a lot of traffic. How was it experiencing pretty much the full force of the GTD field pretty much very early on?
Yeah, getting up to them, is you got to kind of pick your battles, know where, kind of like the groups you're getting by first. The first chunks, it's the first lapping is always awkward because they're so pretty close together a lot of times, and you just got to kind of slot in. I was kind of fortunate that I was actually following a couple of other cars during the first lapping cycle and let them kind of be the tip of the spear for me in some cases. Was able to slot in behind them sometimes, and then other times I just had to be patient and just hope it was going to pay off at the end.
Indeed, yeah. And traffic giveth and traffic taketh away, as we say here on the channel. 2 more questions before we go ahead and let you go here. We're heading to the track known as Algarve, also known as Portimao, next week in Portugal. How confident are you feeling coming into this race?
That's all I'll say there. We'll see how it goes. I'll do my best and try to get some practice in. And it's always a hit or miss deal. You think you're running good times, and you get into a session and you see guys running quicker, and you're like, okay, I got to somehow find more time than that. That's a good thing about competitive league. You come in and you can learn a little bit from them. You can only prepare so much until you kind of actually get to see, like.
Yeah, it's always a big question mark, or in your case, a mystery until you get there in the racing session. Last question before we go ahead and let you go here, Nick. Is there anyone you'd like to give a special thanks or shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, as always, the league organizers and the broadcasters. That's first and foremost. Without you all, it's we'd just be hot lapping out kind of without really any extra amenities with it and perks and stuff, So it's always nice to have that, like all the scoring and license, all that stuff. I mean, it's all a big effort. And my wife, of course, she is happy with me having this sort of hobby instead of being a hoonigan or something out with like a race car stuff in real life too. So hey, it tickles the adrenaline itch.
You always gotta thank the missus, because they put up with a lot of stuff from us. But anyways, congratulations on your race win, and best of luck.
Thank you. Y'all good night.
All right, and from there, we are going to go and grab our next driver to interview here on the night. Let's grab one Mr. Who we got here? Let's grab Chris Stewart. I see Chris Stewart here, winner in GTD Pro. So let's bring Chris up. Chris, sir, I saw someone in YouTube chat say shake and bake, and I got to say, I definitely think you did some shaking and some baking. How's it feel to win?
It feels really good, man. I've been sick all week, so I was just happy to actually get a chance to sit down and do a 60-minute race, to be honest with you.
I definitely understand that, man. It's been great to see your run here through the league, of course, and see how things go. I've seen you on YouTube, followed you on YouTube. I know that you do a lot of streaming and stuff there, but I got to ask, what makes Elbows Out Racing so special for you to come back week in and week out?
I think it's just a great group of people, man. I've met some friends through Elbows Out. The admins do a phenomenal job putting this on. You guys do a great job broadcasting it for us. So just it's a really good place to spend your Wednesday evening. So anybody listening that wants to do a little bit of racing, go ahead and sign on up. Let's get after it.
Absolutely, man. And Chris, final question for you here. Well, next to last question. Next week, how are you feeling about that? You're going to get that Mercedes back up in the front?
Always confident, man. Always confident. You can't be confident in yourself. Why would anybody else, right? So at the end of the day, yeah, me and Colin, we're going to put in some work and get back up there. We decided kind of at the last minute to drive the Mercedes this season instead of the Porsche. So we've both been kind of learning as we go. And if you go back, if you really want to laugh, go look at our warm-up laps in the session. It was horrific. So the fact that I won this race, frankly, I don't even know what to do with my hands. And yeah, Portimao, honestly, it's one of my favorite tracks. I don't know how it's going to go with the Merc, but we will figure it out.
Awesome, man. And of course, as always, last question. Anyone you want to thank, anyone you want to shout out, the floor is yours.
Yeah, definitely my shake and bake guys. We started this team just in the last couple weeks. And Mazza, who you guys don't know yet. We've got Peter Nodwell and Colin here from EOR, I should say. So yeah, we've been having a lot of fun. We're getting Daytona 24 team together with some other guys from Elbows Out, Tyler, Brian, Callan. So we're going to have an awesome time. So yeah, I just want to shout out all my shake and bake guys.
Awesome, man. Congratulations on the win. It was great to watch you up front, and we'll catch up with you later.
Much appreciated. Thanks, guys.
All right, and I do not see Dylan Ackley, and I do not see Patrick Rich, unless I am overlooking them. So, Patrick, with that being said, Mr. Patrick Coleman, any final thoughts before we send this one off into the sunset?
Said at the very beginning of the broadcast, if it is your first time here, do not make it your last. We're heading to Portimao next week, a very technical track. It's going to be a fun one. It'll be myself and Corey actually running it. So some different faces or different voices in the booth, I should say, but it should still be a fun one nevertheless. And yeah, another certified Daytona Classic in the books.
I feel like anytime Elbows Out is involved, you know it's going to be a good race, and they just prove that time and time again. But next week, it is going to be one Mr. Corey Silva here, as you said, Patrick. But, of course, to get to that, we have to get through the rest of the other 6 days on the calendar, and there's a lot coming up. Tomorrow night, we do, of course, have Area iRacing's Dirt Charity Fundraiser. Be sure to tune in, throw some money around for a good... And from there, we're going... Sunday night, it's triple bypass racing, and then Tuesday night, it's triple bypass racing, back-to-backs there. So be sure, like, subscribe, comment, ring the bells, do all the fun things. But on behalf of Patrick, my name is Brad. We're going to send this thing off to the sunset. We've taken you from start to finish. Join us again for the next one. Good night.